name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants 5th edition homebrew campaign.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Spore Druid, and she is just a little bit obsessed with mushrooms.
Hi, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. I'm a wildfire druid who's on a quest to be the very best there ever was.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I play Harry Harrington, the Harrengon, the roguish merchant with the heart of gold.
My name is Christian. I'm playing Bartholomew, the romantic dancing Owlin, Paladin of devotion.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be playing Niles Silverwind, the Owlin, Way of the Sympathy Monk.
Hey guys, I'm Jared. I play the character of Thrain, the boisterous frost giant, the Goliath, path of the giant barbarian.
Hello there, lovely listener. This is just a warning to let you know that this episode of Return of the Giants may contain adult language or adult themes. Hello, lovely people. Hello, and welcome once again to the Lost Archives. It is wonderful to see all of your gorgeous faces. We are here, we are back, we are playing the premier homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign, Return of the Giants. You have joined us at a perfect time in the story. We have a killer session for you tonight. It's going to be excellent. The best stuff that we can explore. The giant dreams are most likely back, given the decisions you were making last session. So I won't keep us too long with extra announcements. Super quick ones to share. Thank you everybody who's been watching the Baldur's Gate 3 Bards of the Bone. I know the episodes have been coming a little bit less frequently. It's just because finding time to record them has been a little bit more challenging. But we will continue to do so, and we will continue to play through Baldur's Gate 3 for as long as you are keen to keep watching it. Really excited for more of that. We have just started through Act 2. Last Light In, last session that we recorded will be coming out tomorrow. For those of you watching live, it'll already be out. For those of you listening to the recorded episode, and oh man, a bard-only team trying to protect protect the Cleric of Saloon in the Last Light In. It is excellent. It is excellent to watch. Very entertaining is how I'm going to put it. So we had a lot of fun with that. Other fun news to share, Subnautica 2. I don't know if you guys have seen the little bits of behind-the-scenes art and concept art that have been coming out. It looks so good. So I am so excited to check out Subnautica 2 as soon as we can. I believe that is later in the year, the early access for that starts. So I'm super hyped for that. And the other fun thing that's coming out, which, no, won't be out yet when you see this recorded, but will be coming out very soon. The Switch 2 comes out next Thursday for Australia. June 5th, right?
Really? That's soon.
Pretty sure that's next Thursday.
Yeah, I know it's about 2 weeks. Don't know exactly when.
Yeah, so I'll be picking up that and the new Mario Kart, because Alice and I absolutely fucking love playing Mario Kart, and quite opportune, like, is very good. We're very evenly matched, which is good, right? Because you can't just have one half of the couple dominate every single time.
With the same settings or with different settings?
Same settings.
Yeah.
No, she's really good at Mario Kart. Like, this isn't a thing where I'm like, I let her do it. No, genuinely.
I love by extension, you're saying that you're really good at Mario Kart.
I'm okay. Yeah, I've played Mario Kart against you. I've played Mario Kart against you back before COVID lockdown, and you were impressed with my Mario Karting skills, Dave. Don't forget this.
I've
held on to this.
Memory.
There are certain people that are like extraordinarily good at racing games. It's like sports games. It's very similar. There's like a certain subgroup of people that, like, they might not be very interested in anything else, but they're very good at, like, FIFA.
She's been surprisingly good at Baldur's Gate 3 as well. I think she's a secret gamer and just didn't realize this. So I'm trying to build that in her. It's taking time. She doesn't believe it, but she has her fun with Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah.
I have a theory, and chat, feel free to put in the comments. I think people are either Crash Team Racing, or Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like they're both card games, but they feel different.
Yeah,
and I find Mario Kart just feels too floaty for me.
Yeah, I really like both. I'm better at Mario Kart than I am Crash Team.
Yeah, my partner is very pro Crash Team Racing. Like, she loves that game. Probably has more of a connection to it over Super Mario, like the Mario Racing.
I played Crash Team growing up myself. Although, talking about like the groups and whatnot, I've got a group that I go over and play games with now and then. Smash Brothers. When we play Mario Kart, I am the undisputed champ, but that is because they're sort of new and none of them know how to drift, and I haven't taught them how to drift because I'm keeping that secret for myself.
That's like 80% of most tracks is drifting. You are a terrible friend.
They're like, how are you so fast? I'm like, Just amazing, brother.
See, I have the inverse problem where, like, I know how to drift, but they know how to drift better than me.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll just become lost again. And then they're just like, haha.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So I'll be looking forward to playing some of the new Mario Kart with us as soon as it comes out. That'll be lots of fun because we've played through all of the Mario Kart Switch tracks like multiple times over, including the DLC tracks, which were loads of fun.
Other Switch 2 games that because everyone talks about Mario Kart, but is there anything else that you're excited about or?
I'm really hyped to play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom with Zelda Notes. The Zelda Notes app looks really cool, and it adds in a whole bunch of like voiceover and customization stuff, which I'm really keen for. And being able to share the builds in auto build, that'll be so cool that you can share them with people and create like builds so that like, because my limited creativity with Tears of the Kingdom, I can now pull on the incredible creativity of everybody else and have some really sick auto build designs. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have to rebuy the games for the Switch too, or
no, you can it's all backwards compatible. So all of your existing games, you do have to. There's like I think you need to pay for like the graphical upgrade, but it's like $10, and like part of me is like, Nintendo, don't be money grubbing, but also it's only $10. Whatever.
They haven't quite hit the pain point yet.
I can justify.
How much is Mario Kart in Australia? Is it like 100 plus?
I don't know. I got it as the bundles. I couldn't tell you. Tomodachi Life, apparently. Tomodachi Life 2 on the Switch is going to be really fun. I've heard rumors that the Witcher 3 release on Switch 2 is apparently fucking gorgeous, and I'm ready for a Witcher 3 playthrough again. I'm ready for it. And like, I do like modded Witcher 3, but it's not like Skyrim, where like I need the mods to play Skyrim nowadays. Witcher 3 I can play without mods, and I'm very, very happy. I'm fully satisfied. So I don't know. That would be good to be able to take Witcher 3 with me. That'd be fun.
I'm in two minds about the Switch 2 because on one hand, I do love Switch. I have two Switches actually. Between
two?
Myself and I. Yeah.
Just sell one to buy the Switch 2.
That's true. I could do that.
Just do that.
I could do that. But I'm in two minds about it because I do love the Switch, don't get me wrong. But I have a friend who bought a Steam Deck recently, and I'm like, that's pretty cool too.
100%.
As an avid ROG Ally person, right, and Linux on the Steam Deck, I think the market's only getting newer stuff now as well, and SteamOS has come a long way.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say to that though is that all the games that you can play on those handheld PCs play better on a PC, which all of you have, whereas the Switch games, which you can only play on a Switch at the moment, it'll be ROMmed at some point. Like we know people are going to hack and ROM it, but those you can only play on a Switch, and the amount of time you spend traveling with your handheld PC. Is it the kind of games that you do really love, or are those the kind of games you want to play on your big computer with the really nice graphics, the big
I think it depends on the use case, right?
100%. And so for me, the use case is the Switch 2 is better for me because I've got this set up in front of me, and I'm about to upgrade my computer as well because Alice's computer has had a massive shit the bed moment, so I'm going to give her mine and I'm going to get a new one. Worked out well for me. So
I think the advantage is like being able to because with the Switch, right? Because you can have it on the TV if you really want to, but then you can also not have it on the TV.
I never played it docked. I only ever played it handheld.
Yeah.
I mean, it's with the Steam Deck, you can go on the TV as well. It's
just, for sure. But like, you can also do that with your computer.
We only use it when we have like mates over.
Yeah, that's my only thing. So for me, the equation, because I did the exact same thing. I really sat down and thought, like, do I get a ROG? Do I get a Steam Deck? Do I get any of the other handheld PCs? Do I wait? Because there's some new ones coming out that look amazing. And I thought about it and I was like, nah, look, to be perfectly honest, more than happy to go the Switch.
The biggest decider for me was my Steam backlog.
Yeah,
which has never been, it's so long.
Yeah.
And having the handheld PC helped me approach that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So in the long run, I've saved money, I think, instead of buying like a...
Because you've got you can just tackle the backlog.
I've actually bought less games because I'm playing all the games I already own.
Yeah,
true. Fair enough.
And Games Pass.
Yeah, I was going to say Games Pass has got you too. I haven't started playing Claire Obscura yet, sorry Dave, but I will be playing it. I'm just waiting for the next paycheck to come through because there's been a bit of a delay between my previous job and my new job. And I'm still chasing some money from my old job, which is always fun.
Did you hear though, right?
Yeah.
33 days after release, they sold 3.3 million copies.
Whoa. That's freaky. Yeah. And everyone over the age of 33 died as well, I hear. Is that...
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Spoilers.
That's the plot of the game. So let's do our recap. Let's jump into the session. On our previous episodes, let me jump in. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, is taking on the threat posed by the return of the Giants. Lyra, Niles, Harry, Ember, Thrain, and Bartholomew have sailed across the waves to the Shattered Isles, making their way to the site of a volcanic eruption. The group have joined Maloran Orc sailors Mac and Setu, and their Triton companion Rilia, denizens of the floating city of Seastride. Travelling on the Orcs' raft toward the town of Heatmeave, the team was surprised to find the town completely abandoned, the evacuation having only begun the prior night. While Mac, Setu, and Rilia took the raft around the coastline, our heroes decided to make their way on foot through the empty streets. Wandering through the quiet town, the team found clear signs of chaos and confusion, as well as evidence of the evacuation described by the Orcs. More concerningly, however, were the scorch marks burned into the wooden buildings and piles of ash scattered haphazardly in the streets, the cause of which the group soon learned. Mephits made of ash and ember attacking the party, while burning zombies composed of scorched flesh and cinders emerged from the nearby buildings. Working swiftly as a team, the group began to dispatch the cinder zombies while also quenching the flames that seemed to be creating or empowering these monsters. With the last of the zombies falling to their magic, the team then soon focused their attention on further investigations, Ember noting the ash smelt like it was contaminated with something. Suspecting either devilish involvement or something similar, the team decided to make their way to the church, where Niles and Bart suspected they might have seen signs of survivors. Arriving at the grounds, the metal fencing showed signs of heat damage, but inside the borders of the temple, the ashfall seemed lighter, the clouds above more sparse. Peeking in through the windows, the team could spy the outlines of several people inside, heads bowed in prayer, but a closer examination revealed all had perished, seemingly succumbing to a poisonous gas still lingering inside the chapel. As Bart began to remove the people to bury them outside, clouds of this noxious gas began to intensify and coalesce inside the church, emerging from a doorway leading to the vestry. Circling around the outside to the priest quarters, the trio discovered the origin of the toxic gas, a rosary clutched in the hands of a dead priest, along with pages of a complex ritual designed to purify the air. Grabbing the rosary and hurling it out over the ocean, the toxic gas soon dissipated from the vestry and the church. Searching around the sparse room, the team quickly pieced together the situation. The priest had cast this ritual to draw in the toxic fumes from the volcano and keep the air purified around town. However, the magic had gone very wrong and released the concentrated gas inside the church instead. With the rosary now gone and the magic ended, the air was no longer being cleansed, the group soon noticing thick, choking gas once again perfusing the town. The situation turned from bad to worse as they also spotted the falling ash affecting the bodies they had removed from inside the church, quickly burning as they contacted the skin and started to reanimate as cinder zombies. The trio quickly closed up the bodies of the church, bodies inside the church, and rushed back to the docks, the air growing harder and harder to breathe, the ash falling faster and faster. Regrouping with the Maloran Orcs and the Triton, the group sped over the ocean toward the foothill of the volcanic island, skirting the edge of the falling ash and staying upwind of the toxic air. With the boat now beached on the black sand, the party spied a large archway embossed with a chromatic metal set into the side of the volcano's base. The team briefly discussed their options, Figment revealing he could potentially trigger a giant dream to show the party the events of the distant past that might have led to these events. We left off last session as the team pushed the enormous doors aside and began to enter the dark corridor beyond. Just as they crossed the threshold, though, a loud roar echoed through the hallways from deep inside the mountain. That is where we left off last session. Simon, what I had Ember do while they were traveling across the ocean, Ember sent Flicker up to investigate the ash and smoke and lava pouring out of the volcano's summit. Flicker, seeing that the actual inside of the volcano was dormant. All of this fire and smoke and ash was actually pouring out of a portal set into the top of the volcano, this metallic ring that you had spied previously, linking it to the elemental plane of fire. So with that information in hand, Ember kind of advised, hey, look, if we just stick to the outside and get around the back of the volcano, we should be fairly safe to explore this. So with Flicker kind of seeing that and guiding them, that's how you guys have ended up at this point here. Just thought Ember should know that, because Ember knows this, but Simon doesn't know this. But now Ember knows this, so we're all good. And Flicker didn't take any damage or anything from the volcano. I rolled very well on that. And you got a nat 20 on your perception check, which is how you kind of spotted all of this going on. So all this information to the group, knowing that it's from the elemental plane of fire and things like that, that's only because I did one perception check for Ember and it was a natural 20, which is just insane.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So Ember was really on it, like really
with
focused.
the eyeglass too. Awesome.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, using the spyglass, that's right. Awesome. So I pass back over to all of you. Just to describe the scene once again so you have it in your minds. The volcano rises before you, hundreds of feet into the air. The ash and smoke and gas pouring over the other side of the island. The wind at your backs pushing this away from you. The beach that you have pulled your boat up onto, with the Orcs and Triton are currently stationed. The sand is this jet black, rutile and zircon, these heavy metals exuded from the volcano's mouth. Colouring the sand, this jet black, and as you walk across it, it clings to your skin and your clothes. Any leathers that you have as well, this sort of black glittering metal clings to the outside of it, sticking to it. You can see sections of pumice floating around the sides of the islands, probably moved there by the tides as the waters have receded and risen again. This enormous stone doorway in front of you has been set into the side of the volcano. You can see rubble that has been recently cleared on either side. It looks like this was recently excavated. The doors themselves looking far, far older. Massive stone pillars wreathed in this beautiful, almost incandescent metal that gives this kind of almost like a chitinous coloration. You know how insect chitin can sometimes give this sort of greenish, purplish reflection depending on how it sits. The metal gives that exact same coloration as you look at it. This gorgeous chromatic effect as you look at the metal, wreathed around in this gorgeous filigree over the stone. And the doors themselves. Yeah, you go.
It's like oil almost. Like
yes,
when like oil
yes,
is like
yeah.
poured on
You know, like an oil
surface.
surface.
That,
yes, 100%. It's a lot like that.
Right.
And the massive doors themselves, these massive stone doors, wreathed in metal once again. The handles of them are these coiled serpent, very draconic looking, consuming its own tail. And as you pull the doors open, it splits at the mouth, eating the head, and lower down the body to open up the doors, just to get yourselves back visually where we are. The door itself is 20 feet high. It's enormous. Leading into the darkness beyond, and as you step into the dark halls, you can see the walls almost look like they are liquid stone. These rivulets of molten rock have formed this very organic, very natural looking surface inside the cave. There are no stalactites and no stalagmites. It's too hot for liquid water to drip down, pulling liquid and minerals from the stone. Any water in here evaporated long ago, and as you open the doors, this blast of heat emerges, drying your eyes, drying your mouth instantly as you feel this prickling. Your hair on the back of your neck's rising a little bit as sweat begins to bead across your brows. Those of you who can sweat, I don't think Owlin can sweat. Owls can't sweat. Can owls sweat? I don't think owls can sweat. I'm not sure birds can. Owls sweat? ? Let's see. Do owls sweat? No, owls don't have sweat glands, so you guys aren't sweating. But everyone else is in this moment.
Excellent.
Just a fun fact. But the good thing is you can fluff up your feathers to kind of capture that air, the cooler air underneath, so you can insulate yourselves better than mammals can.
Yeah.
Got to be some...
I imagine I'm probably doing that anyway. The sentiment of the soil on the outside. Yeah. I can imagine, like, you know how you were describing the black sand, the soil.
Yes.
On the wings, I imagine that would be quite uncomfortable. So I think, like, at this whole time, like, Niles has been, like, shifting his wings, like, kind
so
of,
the
like,
sand itself,
flapping them a bit.
If anyone here has been to some of the beaches along the east coast of Australia, because a long, long time ago there were active volcanoes nearby, underneath the layers of sand, you can find the rutile and zircon again, this really dark metal that's exuded from volcanic activity and collects in sand. It's actually really soft. I don't know if you guys have ever felt it before. It's not gritty. It's not. It's actually almost softer than normal sand is, because the size of the particles is consistent. Because it's metallic, it forms consistent molecular sizes, whereas sand is ground down silicon, so it's all inconsistent sizing. So it's actually this sort of almost velvety kind of feeling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just a fun bit of science for tonight. A bit of geology.
Maybe I'm kind of enjoying this.
Yeah. But it's got like electrostatic, so like the static from your skin will catch it and hold it against you quite easily.
Bart will take the lead and turn to Lyra. are we carving in a hole right here, or did we want to, like what you were saying, Ember, head in maybe a bit deeper, maybe find a room that already has a large space carved out?
Yeah, it'll definitely be faster than trying to carve a hole into the wall big enough for all of us. A room. I'm hoping there's going to be one. Yeah.
Okay. Just for our benefit's sake, you've obviously described the corridor that we're now in, coming in from this major, like, I guess the room ahead. Does it look like the corridor just continues straight into the
gloom.
volcano?
Yeah, so what you can see is this long corridor reaching forwards into the darkness. At the very far end, you think maybe 100, 120 feet away, you can just see this soft glow of orange light flickering very faintly, but far slower than you would expect from fire, from like a torch or a wall sconce. This sort of almost like you know how reflected water gives that kind of like almost shimmering kind of feel. This is like the fire equivalent of it, as you see this orange warmth reflected far in the distance, and you can see in the air little tiny embers every so often flitting past you.
And this doesn't seem like there's any sign of like an antechamber or a corridor.
If there are areas branching off from the corridor, I mean, the walls, because of this organic nature to them, because it looks like molten rock has flowed down, it's not straight, so it's hard to see those kind of shadows. If anything, this kind of seems like potentially a deliberate architectural decision. As you notice this, Niles, if you were someone trying to push into this place, it would be very hard to know how well it's defended. You could be ambushed from any of these little alcoves. In fact, as you step in to the main corridor, you can see what you thought was a passageway off towards the right is just a section where the rock hasn't flowed evenly, and it's just a hollowed out little alcove. So the way that the rock has flowed to create this passageway, it actually makes it very hard to know where there are branching corridors and passageways.
Okay, I see. All right. Cool. Well, I guess it's like we continue forward, like Niles is probably keeping an eye out for, I guess, another like tunnel off to the side, or, you know, obviously conscious that the team are wanting to try and find an area of relative safety to be able to initiate the dream sequence. So I think, yeah, that's probably what Niles is looking for at the moment.
100%.
Sorry.
I was just going to say also, I know that the lava is all being created by this portal that's sort of above us, but I'm just thinking maybe digging into the walls might not be a great idea, just in case there are sort of, I don't know, lava like right against the surface. Like I'm just having some Minecraft flashbacks.
I was about to say, digging for diamonds in Minecraft, as you dig down, you go, yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay.
Bart will saddle up beside, I guess, Ember, and just ask, that didn't sound mechanical. Do you recognize what that sounded like? I was already worried about what creatures might be inside this volcano.
Would I have heard any kind of creatures would hang around these volcanoes, Owen, or any stories of?
Yeah, so 100%. Do you want to roll for me a nature or history check to see what you remember from the legends or from tales about creatures that might exist or live around volcanoes? 13. So there are elemental creatures. You've heard of salamanders before. You've heard of fire elementals, fire myrmidons, which are very dangerous creatures they're almost like armored elementals, right? Empowered elementals. They are very dangerous and very scary. In terms of living organic creatures that might live around volcanoes, not a lot of animals exist outside of birds. Birds are generally the ones who do best around volcanoes, because a volcano is a very disruptive, uneven place to make a habitat. Like if the volcano erupts and you can't fly away, you're dead. So in terms of creatures, definitely the roar sounded organic to you as you heard that roar echo down the cavern. It definitely sounded organic. It didn't sound like metal scraping on metal or even like a weird recording of something. It sounded like a roar. To your ears with a 13, it's hard to say whether or not it was something humanoid, whether it was something bestial, but it had a resonance to it. Whatever this creature is, it's big. bigger than what you would expect for a natural creature to be hanging around.
Interesting.
So I'd relay that. I mean, look, I've heard of creatures that are in these areas, but I can't tell just by the noises. It sounds like there's something up ahead, but it may be quite large and something I've not come across before.
Okay.
Well, perhaps the. I mean, do we know that the fire giant actually left the volcano? Maybe he's at home, in the cave here somewhere.
You actually
Could be,
don't know that he left.
Snoring?
Our estimates as well of beasts that are around here, it fits if it was to be some sort of a dragon.
Yeah,
if you were saying creatures like that.
Red or gold,
Maybe-
bronze possibly.
Large and flying, we were discussing the ideas
Grass.
of rocks and maybe even a wyvern.
Or something completely different from the elemental planes. I mean, the same place that the lava's coming from.
Niles is probably at this point like thinking about like the type of creature that it could be or whatever it might be. He's gonna look down at the ground and just see if he can notice footprints or anything that might have been in the corridor to sort of maybe give him a bit more of an idea of what might be down here.
Would you like to make me a survival check? Tank Hunter, thank you. Harry, you have been gifted. Dave, Harry has been gifted advantage by Tank Hunter.
Ooh, very good.
You want
Let
music
me
to
load
be-
into Roll20. That would probably help.
That would come in handy. Yes.
Yeah. That's a perception check, right? Or
Survival or perception? I'd allow survival or perception. Yeah.
I will do perception.
I thought you might.
Well, once it loads in. Hopefully it's not too long.
And I've just chucked
I
everyone's
thought I was
giant
already
names there
loaded
for
in.
Quick reference if anyone needs them.
And it's jumping in.
That's okay.
It's jumping in. It's loading
While
in.
you're doing that, would anyone else be doing anything? Listening out, looking around?
Probably listening to see if I can maybe get a bit more of a bead on sort of the noises coming from whatever the creature it is.
Yeah. Do you want to give this a perception or investigation check?
Deception if I can. And am I listening?
You can listen. Yeah. You can try and do ear witness testimony for this one, if you like. 25. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Lyra, as you listen out, yeah, that roar, it didn't sound bestial. It sounded like something more humanoid, something large, certainly, but something more humanoid. The resonance of it, the vocality. I mean, this sounded like a humanoid roar.
Like sort of leaning giant, just from sort of the volume, and because when we've heard the stone giants and the Underdark,
Yeah,
similar
for
cave
sure.
kind of environment and size.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey guys, I think our giant friend may still be here. I think that could be the noise.
Well, I'd prefer that, to be honest, over a dragon or a nest of wyverns.
You say that now.
It's a 15 for
15
the
Niles.
perception check.
As you examine the ground for signs of tracks, you can see the ash has fallen constantly, right? But over this side of the island, a lot less heavily. And so there are the outlines of tracks, massive booted footprints, metal boots from the looks of things. These almost like enormous metal greaves. Is that the right word? Greaves, I think, stamping through onto the ash. The ash has slowly fallen and covered it again, but you can see these massive footsteps leading directly into the tunnel and continuing down as far as the eye can see.
Gotcha.
Kicking up a bit of ash as they do inside, leading a bit of a trail of ash.
I think I might have to agree with Lyra on that one. I can certainly see some large booted footprints on the ground here. Seems like our fire giant friend might still be at home.
If we keep an ear out, see if we can, I don't know, somehow get close enough that they don't know that we're here, that we can maybe try and, have that dream, see if we can figure out a little bit more of the motives for the fire giants in this area. But I don't know if we don't find sort of a room, it might be a bit loud to dig sort of a bit of a cavern to try and take this dream. I think it might be a little bit obvious.
I think so too.
I love the image of all of you having opened these enormous stone and metal doors into the side of the volcano, just kind of all standing there a bit awkwardly. Like Niles takes a few steps in to follow the footprints for a second. No one follows him, so he sort of quickly jogs back out again to let people know what he's found. Lyra goes into the listen and then comes back out again. He watches Ember looks at the doors. He's like, yeah, these are big doors. Harry's hiding behind one of the doors. It's like, none of you want to go in. I respect that. You don't have to. You can turn and leave.
Is it technically breaking and entering? I mean, there's a resident in here.
That hasn't stopped you guys at any point so far, so I don't know why that's come up now.
I mean...
Because we're scared.
Our experiences with the giants so far has been pretty good. We've gotten along well with the hill giants and the stone giants, at least once we dealt with the stone giant's affliction. I mean, the fire giant might also be up to a conversation. We could always just yell and see if he comes to us.
I still would like to see the dream. If Figment has found something that all of us are located in here, maybe something big happened. Maybe similar to... didn't we hear that there was problems with the giants angry at one another? The cloud giants being unheard of. The fire giants and the cloud giants were the two that had not been seen or interacted with. That's what Mira was saying, correct?
They're the two that happened to use the gates.
Yes.
For those elemental summoning gates.
I don't know. I would like to see the dream just in case it tells us something about why they're being so recluse now in the present day.
It's a good idea.
I guess the question is, do we try and find a place inside, or do we hightail it back to the boat?
We already know the boat's unstable. You said carving a room here is too dangerous. Look, let's just press on, and I'm going to take the first actual continuous couple of steps in.
As you stride inside the expansive corridor, Bart, there's no sudden swing of blades hidden in the wall, no traps suddenly emerge. It's just a long corridor into the side of the mountain. This massive stone passageway, the walls catching the torchlight. For those of you who don't have dark vision, the sunlight beyond casting these bizarre shadows as you walk through, giving the illusion of movement. As you begin to walk forwards, I'm assuming you're on the lookout for any passageways off to the left and right.
Yeah, Niles would be looking for that.
You walk for about...
Trapdoors in the ground, maybe.
Any trapdoors in the ground? Yeah, for sure. Do you want to make... anyone who's looking for traps or trapdoors or sort of secret hidden things, that's probably more on the investigation side of things. Otherwise, I'll take passive perceptions for any passageways off to the side and things like that. Yeah, any investigation checks anyone wants to make. You have to. It's up to you. That's a 1. That's a 1, not a natural 1. That's just a 2 minus 1 is a 1. Dirty 1. Yeah, filthy.
Bart's going to be focused on it being, I guess, like the vanguard, keeping an eye over the giant in front. Any sort of shadowy movements down ahead. Yeah. Other people can look at that stuff. That's So
passive perception.
Probably would. Yeah, he's gonna roll an investigation as well. Not his finest stat, but why not?
I think Harry's looking on the roof. Because the one that's so high up, and he's getting a bit of vertigo looking up. But also, I mean, is there a light source? Is there something? Yeah.
Yeah. Can I get an investigation check, Harry? I believe you have advantage because of your goggles of minute seeing.
That's true.
14
so
from Niles.
Oh, sorry. That's the stone giant.
Oh, that's okay. So what's your plus? It'll be
+2.
So 20 unnatural for yours, Harry. Very nice.
Oh, wow. Nice work.
Niles, as you focus on looking for signs of maybe secret passageways, any traps and things like that, you don't seem to spot any obvious pressure plates in the floor, no trapdoors, no hidden levers, no tripwires or things like that. But as you walk about 30, 40 feet into the corridor, you watch as the doors behind you slowly begin to swing shut, all on their own. With this grating, scraping of stone on stone, the metal screeching, you hear this little tick of clockwork, and as the doors all the light from behind you vanishes in a moment, leaving you plunged in darkness. The only source of light now, that soft orange glow from 100 feet in front of you.
Fuck.
As soon as the doors close, Harry, with a 20 unnatural, you notice set into the ceiling, almost like glass, like maybe glass, like decahedrons, something like a strange carved shape of glass set into these kind of metallic holders, the same kind of metal you've seen used throughout a lot of the giant technology, this adamantine electrum blend that you've seen the giants using a lot. And as soon as the doors close, you hear this sort of faint flicker, and as you watch, little wisps of weave move around, and then with a sudden flash, the glass, this crystalline structure, lights up above you. And then another 20 feet in front. And then another and then as a series of lights begin to suddenly illuminate your passageway down the corridor. And you see at each intersection, you can now see the intersections with the light from behind you gone. The lights split to create this diamond-like section to show where the passageways are up ahead.
Oh, wow. Is the light source like really bright?
To your eyes in that moment of darkness, takes about 10 seconds for the lights to turn on after the doors close. It seems bright for that moment, but you haven't fully dark adapted. It's like 10 seconds. So like, it's not like, it's more like, oh, okay. Yeah. It is fairly bright though. The interesting thing though, you watch is it like every so often, the lights flicker for a moment. Not all at the same time, randomly. All the way down, occasionally one of the lights will flicker for a moment and lose energy or stutter.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay, because there was light sources in the Underdark.
Yeah, glowing
like
gemstones.
Glowing gemstones. Is it kind of like that, or is it like different?
This looks very different to what you saw in the Underdark, where in the Underdark, the gemstones were this naturally luminescent crystalline structure that looked like it was being grown. These natural gemstones were being grown and cultivated by the stone giants. These have been deliberately set in. You can see where the stone has been excavated and these metal holsters have been jammed into the stone. They look almost like spikes of metal rammed into the stonework to hold these. And now that you're looking at it closer, it looks crystalline, but it does appear to be glass. I'm going to say, Ember, given you literally are proficient in glass blowing tools, you recognize glass when you see it.
I was going to ask about this, and I was wondering how it actually was moving the source of light through. Is there a point at which I could trace it back to, or is
you can see those threads of that electrum adamantine joining every single one of these metal brackets together, leading all the way down towards the edge of the corridor. The glass. Oh yeah, you go. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, I guess like Niles is trying to like see if there's any type of similarity between what we saw in the Underdark and basically what we understand the giant tech to be, like, versus what we're seeing now. Is it?
Yeah.
Because it sounds a little bit more. This is a little bit more technically advanced. I think it's safe to say, like
100%. Okay. Yeah. Whereas the stone giants seemed like most of their techniques used their ability to stone shape, right? This ability to hum and resonate with the stone and shape it just on the vibrations of their own bodies and move through it like liquid.
Yeah.
This looks forged.
Wow. Okay.
Ember, as you look at the glass, you can see. Do you want to make me a glass blower's tools check? So the way that tool proficiencies work, and I know we do this a little bit differently to other. Not every DM does tool proficiencies the same way. I basically say, you tell me what skill you think is most appropriate. For example, if we were cooking a meal and you've got cooked utensils, you might say, I'm going to follow a very detailed step-by-step instruction. That's going to be intelligence. And I would say, yep, roll an intelligence with your proficiency. If you say, no, I want to focus on the presentation. This is all about plating up. I'm doing like a Heston-style plate up where it's all like, I've turned this cod into foam and I've like, this isn't an egg, it's actually the fork. That might be charisma. So like all random stuff like that, right? So like with your glassblower's tools, if you said, I want to use my natural training and my experience with this, I could say your wisdom might fall into this. If you were like, I want to actually like take a sample, maybe scratch the outside, that could be like intelligence or even dexterity. You tell me, what skill check do you want to use and how are you checking?
I think I would like to use a wisdom check, just because...
As a druid, I thought you might.
Yeah, definitely. And I was wondering if there's any pieces that might have been maybe slightly dislodged from their metal casing. See if I can get Flicker to maybe grab one out of the roof, or
100%. Yeah. One of the lights has not lit up partway along the passageway, and you can see that the glass is actually cracked and is broken. Inside there are coils of metal filament. Finely, like almost like this very infinitesimally thin metal wire that has been looped into a series of shapes you can see has been formed into runes, all from the same coil of metal that is encased inside this glass. As you take one of the tiny chips of glass, you just get Ember to grab it. You get Flicker to grab it and bring it back down to you. Yeah, do you want to make me a wisdom check and then add your proficiency to it? So whatever your probably survival or would be the best one to roll for that, because it's the same, right? You've got proficiency in survival,
yeah.
So it'd be the same.
Bart will bring up to Ember as
25.
he finds that. Ember, that looks exactly like the crystalline spiral that we found in the stone giant home. The one that the gnomes found when they were near the water fountain, they said?
No, it does look very, very similar, actually, now that I think about it.
With 25? Yeah, this looks like a more advanced, intricate version of it, but there's a lot of similarities here. Ember, 25, the glass is obsidian glass. This has been somehow, and you're not quite sure how, because obsidian is naturally occurring. The giants have shaped obsidian. The fire giants have shaped it almost without cracking it, chipping it, and it's so much thinner than what you would expect with obsidian. To you, it almost looks like this has been blown and shaped like normal glass would be. But how could they have done that with obsidian, a naturally occurring glass that is infamous for being unmeltable once it's formed? Like, it's one of the defining features of obsidian glass. However they've done this, as impressive as it is, what's even more impressive is the tiny residue on the inside of it. You almost don't notice it, but there's a smell that just catches your very sensitive Firbolg senses. And as you smell, you're pretty sure these glass containers that are set in metal, there's some other substance, maybe a gas, maybe a liquid. This one's cracked and it's evaporated or dried up, but the others, now that you're looking at it, you can see there's another liquid there, or a gas, hard to say, some other substance inside that is contained within the glass, allowing these filaments to glow with this bright light.
So looking at the piece itself, you're saying that it's like blown glass. I can't see any other sign. There's little runes on them. Do I also expect that this is something that, I mean, we've seen giants already. Did I think that they would actually be able to manufacture something so fine by themselves, or would they have...
Yeah, so your experience with the hill giants and stone giants would have told you no. But these are giant runes, very clearly, and you've heard, and you know from what you've been told, what you've read, the fire giants are known specifically for their masterful forging. They are known as the master metalsmiths of the giant world. You're starting to think maybe a lesser known skill, but potentially glasswork was also included in that particular skill set as you look at it.
Fantastic.
We already know that they had those large transportation rails to the fire giants. Maybe they worked together. It would make sense if we're seeing... You said that's obsidian?
Yeah, it is. It is.
In the previous stream, we saw them shaping the stone of the caves. What if the stone giants loved beauty and art as well? They could have, I don't know, sent people over to each other's tribes and worked together.
Well, I mean, this does show a sense of trade, at least between the different giants. How long that went on for and how well it worked, I don't know, but you're right. There must be some kind of connection there.
That could be good for us. We already have a good connection with the stone giants. We can mention some of the names of the people we've already met that might work in our favor.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The stone giants really were focused on, obviously, the stone and the Underdark, but there are, as we saw into the entrance to the city, there was lava there, and it makes sense to reason that the fire giants might have had halls or caverns as well. So purely by proximity, they would have been close to each other, surely. Well, I mean, the fire giants obviously would have been in the mountains, not so much in the caverns, but it makes sense, I think, that they would have had a working relationship, more so than the others.
The spiraling DNA-like structure that the gnomes had found at that water fountain, we never got a chance to check it out, but do we know what it was used for? Did we ever even find it?
No, sadly not. The gnomes mentioned it. It was during a lot of the chaos that was taking place inside the stone giant city, Tontanur. Unfortunately, you didn't get a chance to go back and check that out. Side quest failed shows up in your log.
No.
So if we had it, we could have just like tested it with the electrum wire, see if it reacted the same way as those lights did.
Yeah. Look, you can always go back. I shouldn't say side quest failed, but like that's going to be a hard one to track down again if you wanted to.
Can we fast travel back to Tontanur? Did we unlock the fast travel?
No, there's no actually, I was about to say there's no fast travel, but there are teleportation circles, and you guys are starting to get on top of the teleportation magic. Maybe there is. Look, if this is something you wanted to pursue, we can work with this for sure.
Awesome.
Dave, you're still muted, my friend. I'm so sorry.
Can we send NPCs like Thrain to go do it for us?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would allow that.
Yeah.
I would allow that. Yep. Although, is Thrain the person you want to send to go track down a very delicate artifact lost in the city of the stone giants? That's my question. Is who do you want to send?
Well, I'll send Thrain and Crassus.
Yeah, that would be fun for me.
And fun for Jared to solo when he gets back as well.
True.
Absolutely.
Yep. Ali.
This will end up. I remember before we left, Griswold was talking about these sort of little mini dimension homes almost that he was tying in with our hands.
Yeah.
Was that finished by the time we left, or was that sort of still a work in progress?
Griswold put a pause on that because you had him researching your connection to the Fae, Lyra. So yes, it is actually ready to go, but because of how things kind of played out,
well, it's more than that too, because we also told him about the fact that the soul of the giants may still be actually alive,
and you told him to
in the
pause.
crystal.
Yeah,
and we were kind of like, it might be a bit weird if we're hanging out in our like extra dimensional space and a giant just is just like, hey. So we thought that was like a little bit like maybe we should figure the stones out more, which is why we were going to go to Sinmare and then Lockie and then check in with Griswold afterwards.
When you get back, the bastions are ready for you. Yes.
Cool.
Okay, so I was going to say, that would be a good place to
do the giant drink. Now. Yeah, Bastion would be a great place to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well then, it looks like those side chambers are lit. Did we want to go down one of them and see what's there, or should we continue forward into the gloom?
If I have a listen, is there still sort of a bit of like an echo or anything so that we can see maybe the direction that the sound came from?
So
like,
that initial roar was the only time you heard any other sign of life inside this stone chamber, inside this stone corridor. There has been no other sounds coming from beyond. And I'm going to say,
it was in pain?
Good question. Given that Lyra got a 25 for her perception, I'm going to say Lyra, specifically because you were hearing as well. Yeah, potentially. That roar was... I mean, it's hard to differentiate emotion without the visual side of things as well. But there was a desperation, shall we say, to that roar. More than just... a warning sound might have been one of the hypotheses you had. It wasn't just a warning. This was everything, a heart and soul into this roar. Now, whether that's rage and fury or pain, didn't sound like a yelp, but whether it's pain or rage, fury, frustration, hard to say. But it was whoever or whatever made that sound was using everything it had. It went on for the full lungful of air, shall we say. If that helps.
could it have been the scream of someone smashing a hammer with all their soul into forging something?
Possibly. Yeah, it could have been. There was no ringing sound of metal on metal at the same time, but it could have been lost to the roar. Yeah.
You guys want to investigate then, or should we just take a nap?
I think we will focus on the nap, the dream. Let's head up further. These little alcoves aren't what we're looking for. We need like a space to all lay down properly.
You can see the nearest branching corridor is about 60 feet in front of you. It looks like it splits into 3 passageways. The one in front, one kind of back a little bit on an angle, south west of where you are, and another one slightly northeast from your point.
I did want to ask earlier, once I was going to wait till we get to the actual intersection, but is there clear signs that a specific path is walked more than the others?
So yeah, as you make your way along, the footprints left behind are faint. There's only really one solid set of footprints you can track that are recent enough that there would be any signs left. Little bits of black sand from where it's stuck to the leather, stuck to the metal of the boot. Ash that's been kicked up and dropped. That seems to be heading straight. And as you get to the first intersection, you can see the last fading signs of that footprint continue straight. There is no off that path. It continues straight. All other footprints, there are no others that you can see. It's been way too long. Thousands of years. Hundreds of years. 1,000 years. Yeah. And there's no dust in here. It's been incinerated. There's no dust. Because, think about it. Inside a volcano, what living things are creating dust? There might be rock dust and ash, but if it's hot enough, a lot of that's going to be blown towards the entrance by the differential in temperature.
Bart's just going to keep pushing towards an area that looks okay, and then once he finds one that I guess looks big enough, just go down it. I'm not being too picky.
Yeah, as you get to this first intersection, I'll do this with cardinal directions because it's easy. As you come from the south, you can see the pathway continues towards the north, a branching pathway towards the northeast, another one towards the southwest. The passageway towards the southwest looks like it opens up into a larger chamber almost immediately. From where you are now, looking into that chamber, you can see a series of metal tubes all stacked together against the far wall of this chamber. It looks to be fairly large. There's no sound coming from there. There's no movement that you can see. Just these enormous metal cylinders from the corridor. The chamber looks much, much bigger than what you can see from here, though. Could be a much larger room beyond. The one towards the northeast, the corridor actually curves slowly as it moves, and you can't see beyond where that corridor ends up. But it looks like it's rising a little bit, like it's actually heading uphill. Possibly even spirals up over the top to a floor above. Hard to say.
Do we just want to head to this one with the tubes? Maybe we'll find I don't know. I feel like heading up might not be a good idea if we're heading closer to the mouth of the volcano, whatever this is.
Let's just hope these tubes aren't filled with slimes.
Well, we do have experience with that now, so yeah, maybe we'll take our chances with the tubes then.
Give me some credit. They'd be fire slimes. You're in a volcano.
Yeah.
It'd be boring if I just threw slimes at you again.
Yeah.
It'd be melted in more than one way.
Exactly.
Burned and melted at the same time. Wow. Love that.
As you make your way down the southwest corridor, heading towards the room with the large cylinders, the room beyond opens up into what back home in Oxenfurt would be an enormous warehouse, but here you get the sense isn't even that big a room to the fire giants. You can see there are 12 of these massive cylinders, each about 9 feet tall, about 6 feet wide, stacked up on top of each other against that far wall. Most of them appear to be, the metal covers everything. You can see runes around the outside, but there's no real details you can see inside. One of the canisters is actually broken open, and you can see that there is solidified silvery metal. Looks like it's almost leaked out and then hardened on the outside. And at the base, you can see a pool of this silvery metal, again solidified as it has leaked out of whatever this was.
Go to have a nap. Can I, in just sort of one of my empty vials, take a little sample of that metal and just sort of cap it and throw it in one of the bags?
you can add sample of silvery metal from volcano to your inventory.
That's item.
Well, I've got to be, the
Classic.
thing is, I can't be too specific because it's knowledge you don't have. But if I'm too vague, you're going to come back to me in 2 years' time and go like, Owen, I picked this metal up somewhere. It's in my inventory. Where did I get this from? I'm going to be like, I don't fucking know. It's 2 years, mate. What do you want from me?
Like half the other items in my bag.
Like half the other items in your bag. No, it's all right. I feel like we've hit our stride for like vague enough item descriptions that still give me enough information to know what it is you're asking me for. You're gonna now reference an item in your inventory, and I'm not gonna know what it is. And you're gonna test me here on the spot. And I'm gonna look like a damn fool.
Usable.
Thank you.
So what does the room look like? Is there any areas that suit our
sorry.
needs?
Sorry, I was in the process of explaining the room. Yeah, so the area that you walk onto is a bit of a platform. The rest of the room is actually lowered down. You can see there's a metal gangplank that you step onto. Below this metal gangplank, about 10 feet down, the rough-hewn stone, this sort of like molten stone wall, actually gives way to an area that's clearly been worked and excavated here. You can see that the area below, still half wreathed in shadow, it seems to be part of a room that was in the process of being widened and opened up. Whatever was to be used here, it does seem like it was more of a storage room. There are no other significant items in this room apart from those massive barrels at the far wall, save for just to the right of the barrels. On the opposite, on the wall perpendicular to it, you can see what looks like a dark grey slate-like indent in the wall, roughly 5 feet high, 8 feet wide, and it appears to be cracked along the center. And you can see very occasionally it flickers with the same light from inside that crack as the lights in the ceiling above. Seems damaged or broken.
Similar to some of the stuff at Riz's place.
Not too dissimilar to what Riz uses. This looks like, looks much more crystalline, much more forged, whereas Riz's looks bizarre. This looks far more like forged. But yeah, 100% similar kind of design. You think this is probably
Yeah,
equivalent
bubblehead,
to
and
the
it sort of looks like maybe like a forgotten cupboard, almost like a janitor's closet.
Yeah. Imagine like this is right near the entrance. This is some sort of storage bay. But there's nothing else from where you are that you can see.
Okay, and does it have a single entrance? Like
just the single, yeah. You can only see the entrance behind you as you step out onto this gangplank. I'm going to assume you're not too cautious in the room. It sounds like kind of moving around. As you move around the side of the gangplank and get to the opposite side of the room, the rampway that carries down to this lower section where the massive barrels are stored, these massive cylinders, you can see an enormous trapdoor underneath that metal gangplank that has been partially crushed by what looks like a massive steel girder from the gangplank that's collapsed on top of it. The door, this massive metal trapdoor, has cracked a little bit and the roof has buckled. The edges of it have buckled. And as you look down that gap, you can see what looks like a massive rectangular shaft disappearing into the deep below. Straight down. For who knows how far.
Wow. Okay. Lyra, do you want to start blocking off where we've just walked in?
Yeah, and I think, assuming I can sort of maybe try and match the rough sort of texture and appearance, like sort of the surrounding sort of area, probably indented sort of maybe a meter or two sort of back, so it's not just sort of like the hallway's just disappeared. It's sort of, it's just a natural part of the shadow, and maybe the lights haven't lit it sort of as expected. So just just gonna try and
do you want to roll me a spellcasting check? A, to see how well you do this, and B, to see if anything else fun happens while you cast magic around some things.
Oh yeah, wow.
9.
Oh,
Lyra,
no.
you do your best, but this is a massive area you're trying to fill with stone, and to be perfectly honest, it kind of sounds like your focus is a little bit elsewhere. There's other things you're trying to... You're nervous about what's happening down here. You don't want to spend too much time on this. So this is a kind of rushed job. You do your best and it looks pretty good. There is a gap where you couldn't get the stone to flow over the metal wire that runs linking up the lights. The stone will not go near it. You cannot push your magic to flow the stone around it, which means there is like quite a large gap, a cylindrical gap around where that wire is fixed to the ceiling, which means light from beyond is shining back. And you're like, it's close enough. It'll do. It's close enough.
Hopefully no one noticed.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be at eye level with it to see it. And like you're down here looking up, it's not that obvious from where you are.
Does anyone have like a bell or anything on them by any chance? A bit of a long shot, but I was just thinking we could attach like the bell to the inside of sort of our side of the rock wall if it does get sort of bashed down. I mean, I guess we'd probably just hear the rocks. But...
You could even make a tiny little platform, and if the bell falls, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Good idea.
Like, maybe like big heavy footsteps, and
I actually do have a bell.
Hell yeah.
Bell, yeah.
Yeah, in that case, I'm gonna just try and balance this little platform, situate the bell on top of it so that it, sort of heavy footprints
you've got
nearby.
mold earth. Just make like a little stone spire and just hang the bell on it. You've got, you're shaping this, baby. You're earth bending. Let's go.
Thinking like a way to like maybe detect sort of footprints if it comes nearby, like have it sensitive enough.
Like a little nublet coming out from the stone. That's the scientific term. And then if you balance it on, if there's any vibration, it'll drop off straight away. It is the scientific term, nublet, for this.
I'm not sure if it'll wake us up, but better than nothing.
It might sound like a silly question, but I've got Flicker, and if I go into one of the dreams with the giants, does he? Because he's a familiar now. He's not really like a.
He will not
spirit
fall
anymore?
asleep.
So
Yeah, he'll still be up.
So would he just? Oh no, go.
I was just going to say, same with Swamp Foxy.
Yes, Simon, something else you missed. Ember was here for this. Sorry, I completely skipped over this. This was something Ember was here for, but Simon was not. Lyra also decided, while just the two of you were together, Lyra also decided to summon a familiar. She was loving what you've got going with Flicker, thought she'd summon a familiar as well. When she did, it sort of came through as this very fey-like fox creature. Swampy then grabbed it, devoured it, and then it has emerged as like a mushroom-infused... Yeah, so she's been calling it Swamp Fox, I think is the... Yeah, that's the nickname for it.
I don't really think it has a fixed name. It's still workshopping.
How it feels
Adorable and horrifying. I love it.
Yeah.
We need some art of that at some point.
I mean,
For sure.
you give Flicker the bell and he could just stand there, or he could just wake me up. Either way, so...
Foxelium.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
It does!
In case there's something dangerous in them, Bart will ask the others as Lyra's doing that. Can we all just quickly have a look at these barrels, see if anyone can work out what's inside them?
Yeah. So, as the rest of you head on over to the barrels, Harry, head on over.
Yeah, Harry will look.
Oh, yeah. As you make your way down towards the barrels, you can see that there are the ones that are stacked on top of each other. You're not sure how you're going to move without significant strength involved. But two of the barrels are not double stacked. Two of them are sitting by themselves, partially upright. Working as a team, you could lower them, try and open them from the top. If you wanted to try and break through the sides, you probably could. It looks like the top of it is like sealed down with this kind of clip-like latch on the top.
Are these like barrels in the sense of like they're like appropriately sized for a giant, right?
Yes,
they're probably huge,
massive metal barrels. Yeah. So like 10 feet high, 6 feet wide, huge.
We might
for you guys.
still be okay moving them. With obviously a lot of hands, Bart has significant strength, and then I'm pretty sure Ember. Don't Firbolgs have powerful build? They can push, carry, and lift things that are double their usual amount.
I believe that is correct, actually.
I mean, that is true, but I also have a -1 to my strength. So
Shut up.
I also know that he has a -1 to his strength. I had his character sheet open for the last couple of sessions. I know exactly what
2 times 0 is still 0.
Well, 2 times -1 is -2, so that's also not great. You don't want to argue that. But no, yeah. Ember's also a pretty strong boy compared to Niles and Harry. Just in that instance. But yeah, with all of you working together, Bart, do you want to make me an athletics check with advantage as you're getting help from the others as you do this? Try and tip the barrel over to be able to open up the lid.
Ooh, lovely. 23.
28. Yeah.
It's doing
nice.
the weird.
Oh,
double
yeah.
up.
23. It is not.
23.
It is difficult. This barrel does seem to have shit in it. It does seem to be heavy, but as you slowly lower it down, very carefully getting the others to work with it, Harry climbs up the side and holds onto it, acting as a bit of a counterweight. As soon as the barrel starts to tip, Harry then walks back a little bit, leaning back to kind of pull the weight and distribute it evenly. As the barrel slowly falls, Niles moves underneath, catching it, redistributing and moving that weight over towards Bart, who slowly lowers it down. As you all gather back around the front of the barrel, you can see this enormous... Yeah, Harry.
Does it feel like a liquid inside the barrel, or like
No,
solids,
you can
or like...
feel things moving around inside of it, but you can hear the echoing clunk as things move and jostle against each other and against the side of the barrel.
Does it sound
Is it
heavy?
like a rolling
Heavy.
sound?
Heavy.
Like is it like marbly kind of like sound, or is it like
More like a marbly sound. Sounds like lots of little things running into each other, crashing into the side, bumping against themselves, almost like a rain stick. You turn up right, you like falls down a little bit like this kind of like. It sounds like lots of little things inside.
Do you guys want to open one up and have a look? I kind of want to open one up and have a look.
Harry wants the gold, baby.
I don't want to sleep next to something dangerous, but with all the gas we've been around lately, how do we know that opening this up isn't going to release something? We've just buried ourselves in here. Maybe it's not the wisest choice just yet.
Harry kicks the barrel.
You hear the dull thud as it echoes for a moment and then goes silent.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Didn't explode like the chest. As a deep sigh comes from Bart.
Harry, the latch is just sitting there. It's pretty big, but if you pull down on that latch, you reckon that pneumatic hiss as air pulls inside. Who knows what's lurking inside this barrel? Could be anything.
Harry is very tempted to, and he takes note of the closest one for when he gets up as soon as the dream finishes.
Owen, the voice of Harry's ADHD.
I often step in as your subconscious at different points. This was definitely time for Harry's subconscious to step in. Like, hi, we don't talk very much, but you should definitely open and get all the shit in there.
If Harry was here by himself, he would, but his friend's opinion of him matters even more than his impulses.
Me and my missus have been watching the latest series of Big Mouth, and it just reminds me of like you're Harry's hormone monster. Just
In a way, I'm all of your hormone monsters at times. Yeah, very true. Yeah. I was Lyra just before. That's fine. I mean, it's not at eye level. Who cares? You have to be at least 18 feet tall to see that. That'll be fine.
Who's that tall?
Yeah, who's that tall? You don't know anyone that tall. Perfect. As you all reconvene, the room seems secure. The barrel's unopened for the time being. Harry, it's on you now. You know that Figment had said once you were ready and you found somewhere safe to let him know.
Harry sits around for a while until everyone looks at him and realizes what everyone's waiting for, and then he taps into Figment.
As soon as you reach back in, Figment responds straight away this time.
Harry, are you ready? I think I have the memory ready to go.
Yeah, no, we're almost ready. I just wanted to ask you, since I have you, you know how you were like breaking up before? In hindsight, do you think that's because you were spending so much focus on gaining the memory, or do you think there was an outside interference?
There is outside interference, but we are shielded from it now.
Is it as of when we entered the doors?
Yes. There is a significant amount of rock between us and the source of the interference. I believe that we should have no further problems, at least while we remain inside the volcano.
And do you have any insight on what you think the interference was? Like, what type? Was it magical interference? Was
Yes.
it like radiation? Was it like the ash?
Magical interference. A vast concentration of magic. I believe the portal, the top of the volcano, it is leaking. huge amounts of magical energy. It interfered with my systems, made it hard to communicate. But there is now a significant amount of rock and earth between us and it. I should be fine for the moment.
Harry tells everyone else about that, and then sits back and waits for the dream.
All of you, please find a comfortable position. Close your eyes.
As you hear Figment's voice emanate from the Heartstone. As you do, you watch as Harry's Heartstone begins to flicker softly, pulsing with a soft glow. And then one by one, each of your Heartstones begins to do the same. The green light that emanates from Harry's now moving across each of your Heartstones, one after the other. And as you lie there and close your eyes, you find your...
Just...
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
One minor thing, in case it helps the giant dream.
Yeah.
Bart would like to, very similar,
a shitload of drugs. Yeah.
Similar to the myconid circles that we've seen them form.
Yes.
I would like to try to have Bart in the center and the others around me, just so that they can be close to my aura. I'm not sure if it's going to affect the dream or not, but
I will keep that in mind. Yes.
A bit of like a prayer circle almost. Yeah.
Keeping it within your aura is not a bad idea. Interesting. Okay. I will keep that in mind. As you close your eyes, the pulse from your Heartstones, this gentle warmth emanating up your arms, you find your minds drifting, sleep coming very, very quickly. And for a moment you feel untethered, floating almost. And you watch as vision begins to return. Pieces rushing past you as the landscape forms section by section all around you. And as you watch, you see your forms shimmer for a moment as you take on your giant aspects once again. You find yourself standing in a very unfamiliar place. A massive metal platform, high above the land below. At the moment, you seem to be all standing, staring out at the ocean beyond. You can see clouds, clear blue sky, the bright sun shining down from above, beams of light illuminating the ocean through the scattered clouds. You hear the sound of someone clearing their throats. And as you turn and look around, you can see each of your giant forms once again, as well as Thrain in his frost giant form.
I was curious if he was going to be here.
But it does.
What was his name again?
He was. Give me 2 seconds. I've got that here. He was Ulfric. When you look at Ulfric, for a moment, you think you see the brief outline of Thrain, but then it's gone, leaving only the giant Ulfric. The giant turns to all of you. Well, you seem to be enjoying the view. Tell me, why are we here in this hot hellhole? You can see the massive white beard, white hair tied back, furs wrapped around as he kind of shrugs off one of the furs, tucks them into a little belt pouch hanging from his waist as Ulfric kind of rubs his tattooed arms in the heat, brushing off some ash falling from above.
Wasn't it something to do with those the 3 portals that the fire giants wanted?
Ah, portals. This is not interesting to the frost giants. Trouble will come of this.
You know that there would be so much use for them, even from the frost aspects. I mean, I'm told amounts of magic and cool things that you could do.
Real strength does not come from magic, Cloud Giant. One day you will learn that.
It does not need to be strength, Ulfric. It could be other manner of technological marvels for your people.
Ah, technology. No time or place for this. You watch as Ulfric stomps over towards the edge of the metal platform, looking back out over the ocean, gazing north, almost longingly. Taking in the surroundings, you can see that this metal platform has been set into the side of an enormous mountain that stretches high above you. a line of similar mountains forming almost like the spine of a sleeping beast stretch towards the south, curling around what looks like a series of islands below you, all connected by this mountain range rising from the ocean beneath. It forms almost a small spiral at first, but then you realize it's actually a massive caldera that has filled with seawater as the sides of the mountain, the sides of the volcano have broken through. You're looking down into an enormous volcano that is now sunk partly beneath the waves. And all around you can see these metal platforms set into the side of the volcanoes, sections of the mountain range carved out, forming enormous, intricate caverns wreathed in metal. And around you, you can see skyships. Unlike those you've seen in the modern times, these resemble the sky castles that have since been turned into cities. Enormous structures of stone, surrounded by panels of metal with these spires underneath pulsing with energy, pulsing with this glowing blue light. Some of them massive, some of them much smaller, only big enough for one or two giants to stand astride. And as they wheel and move overhead, the air is abuzz with giants. Cloud, storm, fire. Fire giants. You go.
Oh no, I was just going to say, does this sort of seem like it's like a trading port, like sort of some sort of place where lots of people come together, or does this sort of seem like it's like a one-off, like we're all here to witness something?
No, very, very good, Ali. Absolutely the first one. You can see that there are, most of these massive skyships are laden with materials, coming and going. And down at the edge of the caldera, down at the very bottom, right near the opening of the mountain where you are currently standing, you can see one half of the mountain has been carved away to form a series of metal platforms built into the stone, literally like someone has taken a razor and cut the mountain in half and excavated half of it away. A massive series of trading posts, hubs, enormous, like the airship docks at Oxenfurt on a grand scale. A city, 2 cities could fit here. And you can see huge amounts of material. And from all of the volcanoes in this spiral, this massive caldera, smoke billows from the tops, flames occasionally leaping higher for a moment. And you can hear now upon the winds the ring of hammers upon anvils, the sound of metal pouring through tubes and sluices, industry. Steam rises from enormous furnaces down along the ocean, seemingly burning the water itself, evaporating it to create vast amounts of salt and extracting other minerals from the water itself. And you can see huge amounts of material pouring in and pouring out of this forge.
Etringer will turn to Lyra's Corius. Corius, your people wanted some of these as well, for the plane of water. What was the means to the ends of that?
Steam, mostly. Well, I guess the idea was perhaps the sky castles could be maybe improved, reach greater heights. You need water to create clouds. Am I not wrong?
Corius speaks the truth. That is what I understand it to be as well.
And the fire giants have these 3. Are we doing any visits to the cloud giants as well?
On that, actually, Niles, in this moment, on behalf of Sindaris, is going to see if he can find the slate, basically, that we were getting all the giants to sign. Because I want to know where we're at. If we've got more signatures, less signatures. Kind of giving me a bit of a moment in the timeline of where we're at in this memory.
As you reach towards your belt, no scroll case bound at your waist. No.
Okay, good.
No messages, no things at all. But with your question, something that does occur to you as you look around at your fellow giant echoes. there are things you notice that you didn't notice before. Harry's stone giant echo, Utnia, has a new scar. Partway down his neck, a crack has formed in his stony skin that is definitely new, was not there before. You can see that Lyra's stone giant echo, Corius, where her hair was this pure white, cloud-like pulled back, now you can see sections of almost greying storm cloud at the temples.
Right.
You think this might be later. It's at that moment you hear the hiss of some steam from somewhere down below, and you watch as a platform rises up, this metallic square platform rises up and locks into the metal platform you're currently standing on. Upon it, a woman, a fire giant woman with hair like magma falling down across her shoulders, dressed in this very distinctive black armor. The chainmail that links together the shoulders with the arm guards down around the legs, you can see forms what almost looks like stone with, you know how like when lava begins to crackle over, it gets these kind of like hexagon-like sections on top with the fire glowing beneath. The metal resembles that. The fire glows beneath it. You can see these like interlocking hexagons of chainmail to create this effect. And as she strides forwards, you can see upon her head, her hair has been tied up into position with what almost looks like a very small headpiece of some sorts, forged of what can't be gold. It's wreathed in flame. Surely it would melt, but some other metal that looks very similar tied into her hair. And as she strides forwards, you watch as she pauses for a moment, places a hand over her chest and bows very briefly, and then stands upright. Welcome, delegates. It is good that you could all make it. Apologies for the delay. I had things that I had to deal with. But I understand that all of you wish to speak with me. My time is yours.
Should we be concerned by these disruptions?
No, it is nothing serious. I'm sure some merchant somewhere will grumble that Lady Sirta has not fulfilled her duties, but this is an empire we now create, my friends. The signing of the treaty has made many of us very wealthy, and many of us very impatient. Patience is something I think we could learn. So the merchants will wait.
We all know that well.
Yes. Apologies, though it is rude of me to have kept you all waiting. I promise the hospitality of the fire giants will be very different from here on out.
Well, it's not like it really matters too much. This is quite a beautiful dream, however, and I'll start walking forward.
Ah, yes, of course. I understand that, I hope that my vassal Eldia has kept you all company. It's one of your... She looks towards Ember. I understand Eldia has kept you all company. Now, Eldia, there will be things today that you learn for the first time as well. In the interests of fire giant sovereignty, shall we say, we have kept many of these developments that I'm about to share with you under wraps until we knew what the potential of this truly was. But by inviting all the ambassadors here and having you learn this at the same time as our fire giant ambassador, I hope that all of you can see that we are open. That we are sharing what we have learned. And with that, you watch as she gives a very pointed look at Lyra, at Corius, the cloud giant.
we are honored. We are honored. And of course, it will be reciprocated. Being one of the ones that does some of the tinkering myself. We have a few tricks up our sleeves that have been slated to be shared during the next session.
Well, that would be a first for the cloud giants to share what they are working on. I would be very interested. Eldia, you must share with me a report when you return from this next session the cloud giants deign to share.
I certainly will, and I'll keep an eye out for any kind of things that look like they're hiding.
You are very honest to the Eldia. Good. Good. Now, come with me. There are things here that you will likely never witness again, those of you who are not fire giants. Where I am taking you is down into our deepest, most advanced forges. I must ask you to follow all directions that I give you at all times. If I tell you not to touch, please do not touch. If I tell you to shield your eyes, please shield your eyes. There are reasons for this, your safety paramount among them. Do you understand?
Not.
Of course.
Harry touches everything.
Harry touches everything.
I'm just joking around. Harry's not even here.
What was
you
sorry,
are
what
here.
was the name of the Storm King? The one who
King
did the whole
Yorn.
thing.
Yorn.
Yep. No worries.
As
This is-
we're
I'll type her name
following,
so that you have the spelling.
Yep. As we're following Silza and heading deeper in,
Sirta,
Bart would
Lady
like-
Sirta.
Silta. As we're following Silta,
Think
Bart
Suta,
would
but the female version of it. You know, they're from Norse mythology. Suta the brave.
Bart would like to get close to Utnir. The last we heard was that Utnir is sort of in present day is missing, wasn't catalogued as dead.
Yes.
How are you feeling, heir to the throne?
That's you, Harry. You're Udnir.
Yes, I forgot.
to be fair, remember, like you are still yourselves, and it's like as you play
confusing.
these roles, you find that like some things just happen around you. Your characters respond to things in ways that you don't necessarily do, but you know that you have autonomy. You can stretch and move within these up to a point. these are memories, but you can influence them for sure. So don't be afraid to kind of push the boundaries a little bit and see what you can get away with, see what happens. Especially now that you've got Figment kind of helping run it.
Exactly why Bart probed Lyra around the Storm Giants and why I'm probing Utnir Harry around how he feels. I want to find out if their characters know shit.
Yeah.
How do I feel?
As he asks,
Tired.
how do you feel?
Happy to be here. Like the giant part of my brain.
Yeah, you feel overwhelmed to be in the dream once again, to be up on the surface. You love the surface, Harry. Utnir loves traveling between, but the number of people around, all the giants moving, the chaos in the air around you, a little bit overwhelmed. Yeah, this feels like a lot.
This is it's a lot for me. It's a bit overwhelming. I'm a bit everywhere and
Very noisy.
like I think part of me is also just a bit disoriented. I can't tell which part it is, if it's my giant side or my Harrengon side, but this feels, yeah, it's just a lot. Just ask me in 10 minutes. Just let me have a sit down. And Utnir sits down.
What is a Harrengon?
Nice. As you step onto the platform, as gestured by Lady Suta, the platform begins lowering down. You can see that there are
Utnir
metal.
sits on the platform.
Yeah, you can. Excuse me. You can definitely sit on the platform.
This is like
100%.
fetal position, sitting on the platform.
Fetal position.
Like not like on the side, but like rocking back and forwards, like.
I like how you're like, oh, and don't be ridiculous. He's not lying on the ground.
Yeah.
He's rocking backwards and forwards. Far less like out there.
Helping him.
Elegant.
Yeah, I'm a prince.
Yeah. You watch as Lady Suta looks at you kind of doing this, raises a quizzical eyebrow. I mean, her eyebrows, again, are made of flame. You watch as this flaming eyebrow raises, the sparks and embers kind of curling up around her hair as she watches you do this. She is far too polite to comment as leader of the Fire Giants.
It mean like a bit of a whisper, like the accident took a bit of a toll.
Yeah.
As you can see.
Forgive my friend here. He's You know he is much more comfortable in the Underdark, as much as he has professed his love for the so-called dream. Being up high seems to have disorientated him a little.
Just give me 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes.
Very well. It will take us less than that to arrive in our destination, but we can pause while you gather yourself.
Surely you must know that the stone giants take some adjustments to this world.
Yes,
rather than their own.
although I was expecting the ambassadors chosen by the stone giants and the ambassadors' retinue to be somewhat more accustomed to the world above.
Oh, well, I am much accustomed to this, but Ettringer here, well, he is taking some time to get used to things.
But why we have 2 stone giants with us.
Yes.
Comfort.
Indeed. As the platform moves down, you can see that there are tracks built into the side of the mountain, but not consistent pillars or tracks like a train track. Instead, there are what look like these dome-like structures jammed into the side, the platform moving between them, almost like magnets, traveling along a path that you can't see, this invisible path joined together by these structures of stone and metal. And as it reaches a point, you watch as it jars to a halt for a second and then slowly begins to rotate. The stone wall in front of you raising up to reveal it is in fact metal disguised to look like stone. As you move inside the side of the mountain, the stone closing behind you. As soon as you enter, you watch as lights spring to life in the ceiling above you. No flickering, no stuttering, just brilliant light, far brighter than there was in the caverns where you just entered. And as you begin to slowly spin around this central point, lowering down into the mountain, you can see the lava deep below the earth bubbling away and forges. It's almost like one massive structure, a honeycomb of metallic hexagonal platforms surrounding every single stretch of lava that pours out of the earth. Some of it is being filtered and directed, almost like an aqueduct, a lava duct, down into these massive crucibles filling with the glowing liquid. Some of it is being funneled into what look like these massive metal barrels, pulling the liquid up into it. And you can see all around fire giants working, hundreds of them. Men, women, even some children rushing to move material up to these enormous hexagonal platforms where 6 giants stand on each point of the hexagon and hammer one after the other in this pattern as it moves around. Massive pillars of metal, armor, weapons, but also... Oh yeah, go. Lyra?
Oh no, I was just going to say, as a Forge Master Artificer, can I just sort of be keeping an eye out for anything sort of juicy, like maybe things that they're hoping that, you know, sort of no one else would sort of notice just as they pass? Or
my
anything
next
like that?
sentence was so for you. But also, cages to hold elemental magic, to hold gemstones. That special alloy, you can see 4 of the hexagons grouped together are just for forging that electrum adamantine alloy. Massive pillars above hold a series of barrels all stacked into each other that slowly rotate and move down as each barrel is emptied. And as they pour the contents of the barrels into an enormous crucible, yeah, they look a lot like the barrels in the room you just came from. As they pour the contents of the barrels. To be fair though, these barrels are used all over in every aspect of this enormous forge hall, and they all contain all sorts of shit. But as they pour the contents of the barrels into these crucibles and begin melting it, you watch as the heat from below isn't just being created by the lava. Fire giant mages, 1 per hexagon, twist and turn as they create patterns in the air in front of them, spirals of magic, these rings of light and runes, which as they heat up, you watch cracks begin to appear in the air between the gaps in the magic circles as flame pours forth flame from the elemental plane of fire. Pure elemental energy drawn forth to melt the alloy of adamantine and electrum together. And as it heats up, you watch as the metal flows, but does not yet mix. As they stay separated, hovering together, you watch as at each point, a fire giant woman dressed in robes of oranges and reds and whites steps forward. And as they stand above these crucibles of liquid metal, the white of the adamantine and the gold, silver of the electrum refusing to mix, as they stand there, you watch as each of them place a hand on their belly, breathe in, and then sing a pure tone. The liquid vibrates for a moment, and then mixes together, forming the alloy. You watch as Lady Sirtir watches you all kind of looking at all of this, noting you, Lyra, paying particular attention. You watch as she catches your eye and nods and goes, yes, creation of our special alloy, our electrum adamantine alloy, is no secret, but it is impressive to see it in such large numbers, is it not? And this is the old way. This is the slow way. Each mage can only cast that spell 3 times per day, and we have 100 mages. But the demand for our alloy has risen 2,000 times since the signing of our treaty. And
I've
thus,
been curious since the signing. The stone giants have plans of using it below in artwork.
the stone giants, every single giant clan has use for this alloy. The storm giants and cloud giants for their artificing, for their magic. The frost giants for their weapons. The stone giants for their art. And the hill giants for their cooking utensils. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, they're still racist towards hill giants, don't worry.
Slow yourself. I hadn't finished yet. You're so quick on the surface here. I wanted to know, do your people have a name for it? This was my own curiosity.
Fira, we call it. The pure metal. F-I with a little weird apostrophe on top of it. R-I-R. I'll type it in chat.
I suppose that is only fitting.
It's metal, though. Why is it called pure metal?
Because it takes a pure tone to create it. This alloy, we believe, is actually true metal that is separated at the dawn of time. Only the will of Anam, the knowledge of Anam, and the music of Anam allows us to return it to its form once more.
Resonance with Anam, if you will, I guess.
It is Anam's metal. I have heard others refer to it that way as well. You may do so as well if you like.
Well, if we are permitted to, yes.
Is this song that your
Anamatine.
sorceress
I just thought of it fun. Like Anamatine. Hang on. Hear me out. If this was a Brandon Sanderson book, and Anam was like the god, you know how like each of the gods has like a god metal associated with them. So like Harmony has harmonium, Ruin and Atium for Ati. Like, what would it be for Anam? It'd be like Anamium.
Nemi
would be.
I'm gonna rename it. Sorry, I'm renaming it. Anamium's fucking awesome. That's the new name. Anamium. Done. That's awesome. I stand by that. I think that's fucking great. Brandon, if you ever watch this, Brandon, first off, I love you. Also, second, I think you'd be proud of me for that one. Yeah. Carry on. Sorry, Matt.
This song that your sorceresses sing, is this something that can be learned by others, by other giants, or is it only gifted to your kind?
Music, all skills can be taught, but I would say that it takes the passion of a fire giant to summon forth both the strength to create the music and the consistency to hold the tone.
As Niles mentions that, actually, can Bart's psyche try to remember it similar to what I was doing earlier? So not Ettringer, but Bart with a performance check, trying to remember this, I guess, for later.
Yeah, go for it.
Like the resonance or like the pitch of it. Yeah.
I will let you know right now, it is almost an impossibly low tone. You can hear it with your giant ears, but Bart, with your performance check of 24, you're not sure your throat and lungs can create a note that low. It is, it is so low. You're not sure you can, but
that's okay. But I still remember like the tone and the
you can hold it and you hear it and you feel it within you. It resonates in your chests. Yeah.
Okay.
As the platform spins lower and lower, you watch as below you, two of the hexagons underneath lift and move aside, revealing a passageway below, a massive tunnel continuing deeper into the heart of the volcano. The overflow of the lava is pouring down the sides here, hidden beneath two of these massive hexagon platforms. And as you go underneath, you watch as the platforms move back over to seal it shut once again. As Lady Seata catches your kind of view as you watch this, she goes, "We have to be careful. Who knows who might have been watching? We have visitors here after all."
Who are you concerned?
The dragons, mostly. The elves, I do not think, are ready to understand such things, but the dragons, they are cunning. Their minds are not too dissimilar to ours when it comes to fire. I think they could learn this if we are not careful. And given that we now must share our world with them, we must be careful.
I see. It is the will of our king that we must share this world with them.
For a time, but not forever.
I was going to say, on that note, have you considered your industry is a marvel to behold, I must say. Your mastery of this land is most impressive, I must say. But have you considered the ramifications to the small folk that may be dwelling around these parts? Are they affected by this industry in any way? Are there any side effects or byproducts that you must consider? The environment itself?
No.
Inside check. Do I do that in Sindaris? Because I have a shit inside of Sindaris. Fuck. Okay.
No. I mean, to be fair, you asked a couple of questions. Have you considered? No. No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Small folk, who gives a shit? 8.
Yeah,
no,
that's a terrible
no,
roll.
it's all good. Niles, there is nothing to worry about. It's been considered. Yeah. There are no problems. Nothing to worry about.
That is.
Sindaris, there's nothing to worry about.
Funny enough, this is Ettringer's strong suit, which usually Bart's weakness.
Opposite for me.
But Bart's sort of just been listening to everything, buddying up with Niles. Could I do one as well?
Yeah, for sure.
I was only half paying attention. I'm not trying to cover up for his fail.
No.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Oh,
but
natural 20.
It's been considered. She doesn't care at all.
Yeah.
The small folk could not be less on her mind. The dragons, oh yeah. When she was sharing what she knew about the dragons, she is deeply suspicious of them. What she is saying out loud is but the tip of the iceberg for her feelings towards them, shall we say. And this is in front of ambassadors to the other giant clans that she's saying this. You get the sense her personal opinions of this are probably a bit more extreme than what she's willing to share right now. More than that, but as Ettringer, you also feel a twinge of suspicion towards the dragons as well. The elves and the dwarves, not so much. The dwarves at the moment, while clearly interested in delving below the earth, have kept to the lands that was allocated to them and have not yet reached the depths of the Underdark. Stone giants know that they will eventually, but they hope that these creatures of the dream will have departed these lands, at least not long after they reach the Underdark. The dragons, though, they move fast, and already there are worms that have moved into the caverns underneath the world. Old, ancient creatures that have already started to claim territory in the Underdark. The stone giants are also cautious of this. You feel that with your inside of 24. You also know, and this is a huge fucking spoiler for you guys, but it is a natural 20. But you're pretty sure your giant echo, you've seen this before, you and Utnir. What the fire giants are showing to the rest of the group,
We've already witnessed.
you and Utnir have already witnessed. There's a trust, a shared connection between you and the fire giants at this point in history. You feel it. You are working together beyond the scope of the treaty. And you're not the only ones. You don't yet know. Yeah.
A thought comes to mind with Bart when he sort of remembers and feels these, I guess, emotions coming from...
Like memories, almost like a
Yeah,
memories, yeah.
memory.
Yeah.
Bart
Oh, that's a great
would
name for the episode.
Phantom memories.
Fuck, that's good. Let me write that down. Done. Roll credits.
Bart would like to try to, I guess, recall upon memories right now, and knowing, I guess, our connection with the fire giants, our own suspicions. Do we have do the stone giants have their own plans due to these anxious worries of the dragons? And do they have something to do with Behir's? Right now, I'm wondering if maybe Etringer knows about our own secret plans, like the fire giant's secret plans for Behir's, and possibly the scope of how many have been made.
Can you please roll for me? Possibly. Can you please roll for me? I don't know whether to ask for a history or an insight. I'm going to say your choice, history or insight. And this is now you in checking your own self. This is you trying to sort of see what you know from Etringer. If you wanted to talk to Utnir about this before you roll, you could have advantage. Utnir might be able to help you with this. Harry might be able to help you.
Look, I will whisper to him
yeah.
to the side, because I guess it would make a little bit of sense. Our connection with the fire giants, our suspicion of the dragons.
Yeah.
I'll just, I guess, a side comment, almost like not deviating too much from the past's timeline, not affecting it too much. I guess this is good that we have our own schemes in order. The dreaming is far too dangerous sometimes. I guess we'll see what Harry replies with, as Harry's like,
At this point, Harry, you're over. You're feeling a bit better. You're now back underground.
If it's been 5 minutes, Harry's back up.
There's no one around you anymore. It's now just you guys on the platform going deep below the earth, down towards. Possibly, you're feeling way better. Yeah.
I'll see what Harry replies with before I guess I do the roll.
As you say this to Harry, as Bart, as Etringer says to you, it's lucky we have our own plans. Yeah, there's a sense of relief there, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, Harry always has his own plans. So, as far as Utnir goes, Utnir nods and gives him a wink.
The dreaming is too dangerous, and I'll do the 1 and then 2.
18.
Thank God for the advantage.
Nice. But Utnir, Etringer, both of you know that right now there is a dragon corpse back with the stone giants. It is going to be transported to the cloud giants for examination.
I don't really want to know if I know how we got that. Okay, cool.
Oh man. Interesting.
Eldia, Ember, as you are transported down below the earth, below the forges, below where, I mean, these forges above that you've seen, you know all of this before. All of this is familiar. You've spent some time working those forges, creating the anamium, creating the giant alloy. I'm standing by it. It's fucking awesome,
It's
right?
good. It's good.
I refuse to back down as you create the anamium. But this, a whole hidden forge deep below the earth, you had no idea this was here. And as you turn towards your queen, towards Lady Sitya, you watch as she catches that look in your eye. How would you feel in this moment? Would you feel betrayed that your own queen didn't trust you, the ambassador with his information? Do you feel grateful that you're being told this now? What would be your reaction?
Ooh, I mean, judging that I've tried to pick fights with giants before as Eldia, I'd probably feel a bit betrayed. And judging by the scale of what I'm seeing as well, kind of a little bit impressed as well. Maybe that's been hidden, or I haven't been able to see this.
Yeah, for sure. She catches that look in your eyes and goes, "What? Should I have told you about this sooner?"
How do you expect me to be a representative of the fire giants without knowing everything there is to know?
Because I did not want this shared I did not want this shared outside of our own people.
Am I not our own people? Am I not one of the fire giants?
You are, but not all fire giants know. Only this one forge hall knows. And they are those that we can trust. Those who have a vested interest in keeping this information from the others. I'm not saying I can't trust you, but your interests lie not only with our people. You were so vocal about the signing of the treaty, ensuring that we bound ourselves to the others, that I thought it prudent to keep this on a need-to-know basis. I am sorry if I have offended you, but the risk of this getting out was too great. Until we were ready.
This does bring me to think there's other things that maybe I don't know that I should. Is there any other?
Yes, that is a good point. Perhaps there are other secrets you are keeping from us then.
No.
Look, I think with that history check before, Bartles to Sindaris, look, the coalition has been created. That is a step in the correct direction. We shouldn't push Siltar too much.
Do the cloud giants share all they know? Do the storm giants share all they have learned? Can you honestly tell me that your people have been open and honest? And yes, I am looking at you, Corius. Cloud giants have yet to share any of their research. I happen to know for a fact that what you are researching on your, shall we say, secret sky castle, the one in the upper atmosphere.
She speaks the truth, and I'm gonna try to fucking brown nose her and put an elbow on her shoulder. Secrets need to be more open here, but it's like a doorway. It works on both sides.
Exactly, and we are going to share in good time. Like I said before, we are the next one due to share at this symposium of this gathering of minds. But I must remind you that we signed a treaty, not, a treaty of peace and to share land. We didn't share a open book secret.
Exactly.
You have yours, we have ours. We are going to do our fair share of the sharing.
As long as such secrets do not jeopardize the integrity of the treaty, then all is well.
You are about to see that such discoveries that we have made do not jeopardize anything. What they do is allow the giants to rise to new heights. With that,
all giant kind?
All those willing to work with it, yes. And with that, you watch as the cavern walls that are tight on either side suddenly open up into this enormous chamber. The lava that's been flowing down the walls has dripped into an enormous pool beneath you and you can see suspended from massive metal chains the biggest platform you've ever seen in your life. A single sheet of hexagonal metal, hundreds of feet across, suspended above the pool of lava, tubes running down from it into the pool of molten rock below. And you can see, hovering in place at each of the sides of the hexagon, at each 6 sides, massive metal rings, slowly spinning in place. One of them in the process of being assembled. You watch as a team of fire giants begin to lock in and click in these metal structures. A fire giant behind them, moving their hands over it, creating this flame that melts and runs the metal together, forming these massive rings as they do so. That is where we're going to leave off for tonight.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to this. Fucking hell. All these natural 20s. Wow. Every time they come, I have to give you too much lore. And you learn things before I wanted you to.
Good. They're always really well timed.
Every time. It's like the antithesis of the D100 rolls. It's like you get punished for your D100 rolls and they always go terribly. But every time there's like a really important lore question, you always seem to get those natural 20s, or like at least like a above 20 result. And I kind of have to be like, okay, here you go. This is what you know.
I think like, because I think Sindaris is like, because he rolled such a poor insight, so he's probably just like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. But then it's like fine. Niles is like, oh! Like freaking out.
They're making Bahir from dragon corpses. Yeah, Bahir are people. Soylent Bahir are people. Yeah.
The stone
Explain
giants.
How the troll chip got them.
Oh, look, I don't. Did the stone giants like assassinate a dragon? Like, this is all very leaning to.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is, like a psychopath, it's because they can justify what they're doing. Stone giants in the Dreaming don't care about people that are awake.
They're not real. They're not real.
Yeah.
It's not real.
You're
Everything
a
you
nuisance.
do...
Let me kill one of you. I'll study you, learn how to make some things.
Like thing to believe in too,
it's
right?
Not real.
It makes sense for them, but it's also like, whoa.
Look, there
Like
was a sign that said
like...
private property, do not trespass, and they trespassed.
It was in giant,
what if it's like
but
an
like
ambassador
whatever.
for the dragons? Like, hey guys, what's going on? Oh no!
Oh man, fun. I'm excited for you guys to see see this stuff. Yeah, really exciting. So that is all we have time for tonight. We will be back next week with more Return of the Giants. That was a really good place to wrap up for tonight. I know we're actually bang on time for once. I'm going to bring us across to do a raid on one of our fellow streamers. For those of you watching on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We will get that raid coming shortly. For those of you watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast recorded, firstly, thank you so much. Secondly, we are well on our way to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If we can get there, I'm going to say by like October, there will be a very, very special reward. I'm not going to share what it is yet, but when we get a little bit closer...
Is it a double level up?
It's a reward for the viewers, not so much for you guys, sorry. But I guess it's for you guys too. I think
leveling up and being overpowered would be a reward for the viewers.
I think the tension, the fear that is in your eyes every time you guys get into a fight that's a little bit beyond your scope, I think the audience are here for that. I don't think they're here for you to succeed all the time. I think it's far more exciting when there's success and failure. Yeah.
The third of death is always fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reward. I'll TPK you.
Oh my god.
No, obviously not. Let's go and raid Bardic Tales. They're currently playing Fellbrush Ascension Episode 2, and they have 2 people. Let's go and dump in all of you lovely people to go and say hello. But yeah, if we can get to the 2,000 before October, very, very special stream and episode for you that I will give you more details on when we get there.
Thank you.
From all of us here tonight, though, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week for those listening to the recorded episode, and we will see you all again very, very shortly. But until then, stay safe, stay well. See you guys again soon. Goodbye! Bye-bye. See ya! Bye. Bye.